Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. Here we go. Nothing wrong with audio. Body camera is in buffer mode.
Yeah, 100 get out of the car. You guys tell somebody tell this street the wrong way. Come up the wrong way. We got a unit sitting right at the green light. Doing absolutely nothing.
Get out the damn way!
Look at that vehicle now. Patrol unit at Full North Avenue just turned north. Go help him. Alright, block down the park. Yeah, there you go. It's a vehicle right in front of me. So you can pin it in. Pin it in. Alright, it's taking off in the alley. Looks like I don't know if it's going to be able to get out of here. Okay, do you have a 100 block? 301 is helping him. He's a couple of minutes. They're fine. Oh, yeah.
Let me get on the ad. Westbound Sinclair approaching Wolf.
Just let it go, guys. It's westbound Sinclair. It's traveling at a higher rate of speed. It looks like it's going to go southbound on Wolf and come out both eyes. And we're going to start moving. Bring it on.
Southbound.
Yeah, just hit a car at the last building. Building just fell on it, north on Wolf. Get some units, a couple medics. Hit a civilian vehicle. The building collapsed on it, on both vehicles. Start a couple medics in the... Single 13, single 13, north and Wolf.
Let me see your head! 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 Dad, give me your head! Let me see your head! Who got
almost to the end here. Okay, so there wasn't a whole lot of information available for this video, so I will go back into it and let me go back to the article that I had brought up. All right, so give me a good freeze frame. All right, so this is from the New York Post. Stolen car fatally strikes pedestrian before crashing into Baltimore building that collapsed over wreckage. March 2nd, 2023. Shocking footage released Thursday showed the moment a stolen car fatally struck a pedestrian, another car, and a Baltimore row home, which immediately collapsed over the wreckage. The unreal scene took place February 8 after cops attempted to pull over a driver accused of stealing a Hyundai Sonata. Video of the speeding Hyundai and the destructive crash was released by Maryland Attorney General's office. The vehicle barreled into another vehicle as the driver ran a red light, leading both cars to slam into the pedestrian and the vacant building that quickly fell to the ground and covered the cars in debris. Baltimore man Alfred Fincher, 54, was pronounced dead at the scene, and the driver of the Hyundai was arrested by police. Footage shows officers descending upon the rubble as they shout out to the suspect to show his hands as he exits the car. Cops are also seen rushing to dig out others trapped in the debris. Fleeing suspect Sean Lee Brunson was charged immediately after the incident. In addition to the two drivers, 3 others were injured in the crash. The officers involved in the incident are under investigation by the Attorney General's Independent Investigation Division, which is tasked with probing all officer-involved fatalities in the state. The division was created in 2021. Body cam footage from one of the officers involved in the attempted traffic stop indicated an unidentified speaker over police radio told cop Devin Yancey to just let it go as the vehicle sped off. Shortly after that guidance, the speaker over dispatch told the officer the car slammed into a building. Baltimore Police Deputy Commissioner Richard Worley said in a news conference following the crash that he didn't believe officers chased the car, but instead tried to stop it, the Baltimore Sun reported. A lawyer representing Fincher's family argued that the officer did not break off the pursuit. Baltimore police policy reportedly dictates officers are not allowed to chase a car if the initial violation is a property crime, including auto theft, but can pursue if the suspect is an immediate threat and if there is probable cause to believe the suspect's actions led to the death or serious injury of a victim before the pursuit. Various factors are also considered when deciding whether to chase a car. The Attorney General's office said the deadly crash occurred after an attempted traffic stop. Officers followed the vehicle to the area of Sinclair Lane and North Wolf Street, where it continued to flee. Yancey has been with the department for more than 4 years. So, you can barely see it because the camera is panning as it happens, but there is a pedestrian, and he's from what I can tell, he was standing right about in here. Kind of like almost at the corner of this building. So let me back it up some. So you could see him right there. Back it up. Boom. Guy standing right there. Just going about his normal daily business. And then bam. And it looks like the suspect vehicle literally goes right there in front of him. Misses him. It's hard to tell for sure what's going on. When I first saw this thing right here, I thought that's who it was, but it's a part of the bumper. So I think that he simply just either falls down right in here, or the other vehicle hits him and pushes him back into the building. But yeah, so it hits him. I would suspect that he's either under these vehicles or under one of them, or has been smashed in between a vehicle and the building. And then the building itself does the rest. I'd say that most likely what has happened to this guy is, if the impact of the crash didn't kill him, then I would suspect that the weight of all that debris prevented him from breathing, and he died that way. Hopefully the impact or whatever happened knocked him out and he didn't get to feel anything. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is he was conscious at the beginning of it, and then as he was unable to breathe and get oxygenated blood to the brain, he just passed out. But he would have felt some pain while he was still awake, and that sucks. That sucks to think that that would have happened to him. So the building itself, so you can look, a lot of the stuff is boarded up. So you got boarded up, boarded up, boarded up, boarded up. This looks like it's boarded up as well. So it's an old building. Don't know how old it is, but it's obviously old enough to where nobody wants to do anything with it. You got more boarded up doors and windows here, and it looks like this is boarded up as well. Kind of a common thing within some large cities, and heck, even some small ones to some degree. When you have old buildings like that, and no one stays in them, they develop leaks, and because there's no one constantly there to notice all the leaks, those leaks get in there and they start weakening parts of the building, getting in the wood and just getting it all soggy and rotting, and those components, I guess you could say, start to fail, and then the weight, you start getting some sagging, and just a building shifting over time, the settling of it, that can cause some unevenness and some sagging in the building and cause some structural deficiencies. And there's a lot of buildings out there that this is all it's going to take for some of it to collapse. when you look at strategic planning for earthquakes, for example, New Madrid, it is estimated that within, depending on the scale at which it would pop off at, if it went off on a scale 10 or whatever, it's estimated that within X amount of miles of the fault line, and it goes out very far, it's estimated that so many bridges would collapse due to their age, and it's estimated that X amount of buildings would just simply collapse due to their age and their structural deficiencies. So just a simple earthquake can cause a lot of old buildings in this country to just fall. So older buildings are subject to structural collapse like this, and that's a pretty big hazard. There's some old buildings that when it's noticed that these are like that, there may be some efforts to try to bring some engineers in, depending on who owns the property and if it's a historic landmark or anything like that. Some buildings just get slated for demolition. They do an inspection, they see that, number one, people can't be in it anymore, it's too unsafe, and it also becomes unsafe for the public. And so they'll start to demolish places like that. They may try to do some things to prevent it from, falling. They could put, and I don't know the terminology in it, but they can do, it's not shoring. I forgot the terminology for it, but they can do things to kind of reinforce certain parts of the building to slow down that process or to almost prevent it from happening. But a lot of buildings, the owners, they're not putting any more money into this. Like, whoever owns that building, they're not doing anything with it. All right, like, there's a reason why it's boarded up. They just don't want to mess with it. They're waiting. They're holding out for someone to come along and be like, yeah, we'll buy this old pile of bricks and for X amount of money, and then we'll demolish it and build a gas station or a liquor store or a bank right there. So the people who own these buildings, they're holding out. They're holding out for someone to come along and buy that property for whatever reason. Most likely to demolish and build something new. Because if anyone was going to do anything in the existing structure, they would have been doing it already. But they're not doing it because most likely a good chunk of that building is just uninhabitable. So lots of buildings out there that are really a risk to the public just by being there, and they need to be dealt with. So they start to affect rescues at this point. And, something to think about with a structural collapse like this is just because the rest of it hasn't come down doesn't mean that it won't. This right here could have very easily shifted and come down the rest of the way on them. So this would be something to think about on how to handle this scene. For one, you need to make sure that people aren't coming into the hot zone, posting people on the sidewalks over here, making sure people aren't getting too close. And it's not just, right here that you would need to be thinking about. You need to think about, what if this starts to shear even more and it causes a bit of almost a domino effect for this part of the structure to rip forward and off of the building up until here. So it's even pushing people further back than, simply just right there. You basically, from ground to rooftop, you guesstimate, the length of that, the height of that, and then you paste it out here on the ground, and then you add some more, and that's how far you need to stay away to avoid anything falling on you. Cribbing. Cribbing was the word I was thinking of. So cribbing is a method to stabilize unsteady things. So there are ways to do cribbing on portions of a building for structural collapse. Mostly you see cribbing being done for vehicles, adding blocks of wood under it, things like that to stabilize that vehicle, to prevent it from moving on you while you're working on it, if that makes sense. Just basically, cribbing is to immobilize as best as you can that object, so that when you start doing stuff with it, it's not going to be moving around. And there are techniques like that for buildings, but that's when you start getting into urban rescue task force, and there's only a few of those across the nation. Other places, they may have some knowledge on how to do it, but they may not even have a whole lot of the resources for doing some cribbing on the building. There's a lot to it, but something like right in here, and I forget the name of the equipment, but they look like long extension poles, basically, that they could be pushing up against this part of the building and anchoring it down into the ground. Be building it almost looks like the game of Jenga, the wooden blocks that make like a little tower. So there's a way to take wooden blocks and create basically a base, like a foundation sort of, to shore up or crib up like a corner of a building that could be starting to collapse. Take it right up to the lip right there. That way, if it shifts anymore, it's going to hit that big block thing, and then it's almost like kind of like a jack stand in a way, and prevent it from falling the rest of the way down. But like I said, you need a lot of resources for that, and rescue vehicles only carry so much cribbing, and the cribbing that they carry is mostly for the vehicles. There could be, for the urban rescue task forces that would specialize with building collapse, they may have a whole lot more stuff, but some places they just don't have all those resources, and so they have emergency contact numbers with lumber yards and stuff like that, and they have memorandum of understandings that if any time they need to go get some lumber, they've got access to go get that lumber to create the cribbing that they need. So this is a very dangerous rescue scene right here because of the potential for more collapse to occur. To me, number one priority for rescue needs to be the actual true victims, the people in this car right here. These people, in my opinion, are the ones who need to be dealt with first. The suspect vehicle, they can set their ass in that car for all I care. They can wait for more resources to get on scene. They can be ordered and told to stay in that vehicle, and you'll see it looks like one person is trying to come out this window right here. I'd tell them stay in that damn car, and if they act like they're not going to come out, I think it would be perfectly acceptable to spray some pepper spray over there at them to keep them from coming out that car. Keep their ass in that vehicle. They wanted to play these stupid games. Well, they can sit there and choke on freaking brick dust for all I care. These people right here are the ones who need priority rescue. They're the true victims. The driver of this vehicle, he brought this upon himself. He knew what he was doing. The passengers in the suspect vehicle, they knew what they were doing. They knew who they were with. They knew that was a stolen car. They knew they were hanging around a bad person. The old saying, you lay down with dogs, get up with fleas. So as far as I'm concerned, screw these people in this vehicle. They can sit there and wait. These people are the ones who need help first. And you could see, they're trying to effect a rescue by basically just hand over hand removing the debris from the vehicles. You see them lifting bricks up and throwing them off to the side. This would, I don't know how much longer this went on, what all they had to do to try and get people out, but I mean, that's a lot of weight to be crushed onto a vehicle, and so that has impacted the ability for the doors to open. It's possible that they had them crawl through the window, but I'd say it's also possible that they had to get hydraulic spreaders and cutters to get this door open. And it's even plausible that because of the risk of the collapse, that it may be a decent idea to clear some of this stuff out of the way, get the tow truck to run a line to the vehicle and drag that damn thing out of the hot zone, and then start working on it to get people out, just to reduce the risk of this crap falling and crushing the rescuers. So the article had talked about Baltimore having pursuit policies and basically saying, they won't pursue people who even steal vehicles unless they've done something to hurt someone. That pursuit policy, in my opinion, is what caused this accident to occur. The bad guys know what's up. They know there's no pursuit policies. They figure that out real quick. And they bank on that. They know that if they keep going, all they got to do is hold out for a couple minutes and the pursuit will be called off. And then they're scot-free. That's what they were doing. They knew all they had to do was just flee for a few minutes at that, and they'd be free. These no pursuit policies embolden the criminals. It makes them want to flee more. Hey, as long as we don't hurt anybody, we run, we get away. We don't go to jail. The police have to stop. They have to stop chasing us. If you were going to be living a criminal lifestyle, wouldn't you bank on that too? I mean, come on, it's common sense. Like, hell yeah, the criminals are exploiting that. So, no pursuit policies are actually more dangerous than the actual pursuits occurring, because it just entices them to run more. Unfortunately, you have a bunch of fair-weathered, fence post riding kind of admin who don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to lose their place at the table, and they take pressure from the mayor and the city council, stuff like that. And they're like, oh, okay, pursuits, yeah, they're bad. We'll tell our cops don't chase anybody, and I won't take any heat. I get to keep my cushy job sitting at this desk, and it'll be great. It's not great. It endangers the public. This society, our society, has taken the wrong turn with accountability and justice. So we coddle and we pander the criminals so much. It's like, why do we even have police anymore? Why do we even have criminal courts anymore if all we're going to do is just baby them all the damn time now? Like, it's sickening. It is just downright sickening how this country has devolved over the years. The criminals don't fear the criminal justice system anymore. It's a minor inconvenience to them, but they don't fear it. They don't fear it one bit. So things have to change. We do need justice reform, but not in the idea of how the rabid liberal left believes. We need to start getting hard on crime. We need to start making the criminals fear the system. Otherwise, more and more innocent people are going to be victimized at the hands of these habitual offenders. Alright, not much else to talk about with this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.